News 24 on Cstv. For more news updates, you can follow us on all social media handles at Cstv GH1. Cstv News at 24 is brought to you by Yab Decorations, Sarah's Dreams Jewelry Street by Manel K.S. Rafimix Company Limited, Rema Oshri Agency, Celeste Sweet Tom Brown, and Ansel Block Machinery and Block Manufacturing. Now, in the headlines, Minority Caucus appoint John Darko as legal counsel. Also coming your way, Eastern Regional Minister cautioned illegal miners. 2025 budget cuts will target wasteful expenditure, says Dr. Forsen Atto. On the international front, Canada's next Prime Minister vows to win trade with Donald Trump. There's many more stories be coming your way, as well as weather reports. Stay tuned. Welcome back. It's still live on Cstv News 24 or Cstv Now. The news in details. President John Dramani Mahama asked in an interview whether he would sign the anti-LGBTQI+ bill, stated that while family values are important, governance decisions must make sure that is in line with economic interests of the country.
Desk, would you sign it?
The old bill expired because it was not assented to by the president. There was a legal challenge. Eventually, the legal challenge was dismissed, so it means that the president could assent to it, but it's expired. So the question is hypothetical. It means that it has to go into Parliament again. And I think that what we need is more stakeholder consultation to look at whatever new bill will come and make sure that we carry everybody on board. Proper family values are something we all are interested in. And we believe that is not only in the bills that we send to Parliament to regulate them, but also in teaching our children those family values even as they grow. And so looking at the curriculum in schools and inculcating those values in them, I think is the more important pressing issue that we must look at.
Still speaking, the president stressed that multinational institutions should abstain from imposing their values on sovereign nations.
Well, I believe that multilateral institutions should avoid getting into cultural matters. This is a diverse world. We have different cultures. And so I don't think multilateral institutions should include, cultural imposition as part of their mandate. I don't agree with that. If they decide to pull it, well, it's their prerogative. But I don't believe that multilateral institutions like the World Bank and IMF should include in their mandates how people behave culturally.
Now let's do some political stories. The new Patriotic Party Minority Caucus in Parliament has appointed Mr. John Darko, Member of Parliament for Swame, as their legal counsel to strengthen their legal front. The decision was made officially in a letter signed by the minority leader, Mr. Alexander Afenyo-Markin. The responsibilities of Mr. Darko will include representing the caucus in legal and constitutional cases, and also ensuring that the minority caucus interests are protected and advanced.
Desk, would you sign it?
The Minister of State in charge of government communications, Felix Kwakye-Ofosu, has dismissed claims that the current administration under the National Democratic Congress has appointed an excessive number of ministers and staffers.
And you can verify for yourself. when they presented the reports for 2022, it turned out that there were 44 presidential staffers and 292 political appointees. So in all, there were 336 political appointees who worked in the office of the president under the MPP in the year 2022. The numbers remain the same for 2023 and 2024. President Mahama will come nowhere close to this number. So currently there are 30 people you can call presidential staffers or presidential aides, some of whom are classified as directors who work under the office of the president. We are in the process of considering support staff for those who work at the office of the president. And we can state emphatically that it will be nowhere near half of what the MPP did when they were in power. So,
on the same story, the Minister of State provided details on the number of presidential staffers and political appointees at the office of the president.
That any claim that President Mahama has appointed 100 ministers and is hiding some in the presidency is blatantly false. The number of ministers who have been appointed is 56. The Honorable Jinapo is a member of parliament. On a number of occasions, he has been at the appointments committee where he has joined the vetting of these ministerial nominees, and so he knows that there are no 100 ministers. And then when it comes to the staff at the office of the president, President Mahama has committed to reducing the numbers drastically. And therefore, by every account, this government will be the smallest in the history of Ghana. And the reason why that is important is that it enables the government to make significant savings. As I noted during my contribution to the debates and the message on the state of the nation, if in the past there were 126 ministers and you reduce the number to 60, that is 66 less Land Cruisers that you have to buy. We all know the price of a Land Cruiser today. It is anything between $100,000 and $120,000, which, if you convert to Ghana cedis, is almost 2 million Ghana cedis. So if you are not buying 66 Land Cruisers, you can do the math and see how much money you will be saving for the people of Ghana.
So in political stories, Member of Parliament for Bia East, Honorable Richard Echampong, has accused former Roads Minister, Honorable Amwako Atta, of causing financial loss to the country following the suspension of road toll collection. Speaking in an interview, he questioned why such a critical revenue stream was suspended without viable alternatives.
Road Minister, former Road Minister, I think I didn't go of course, financial loss to the state.
Hey,
it is the total collection in Saba. About my additional revenue, like I say anything. What did now, man? 78 million for 3 years. So she cannot relate to my what this economy. Now we are question I myself for Jebusnia and about the boom man. And about all low hanging fruit, or how you can tap onto it. About revenue to develop the nation. Then about Nigerian put it on among. Rana, it has not been refused. There was no amendment. We are the suspended Emra Parliament party. On what authority no yes,
Member of Parliament for Wale Abdul Kabiru Mahama has criticized the just-ended National Economic Dialogue. According to him, the discussions failed to produce any new ideas to address Ghana's economic challenges.
I'll come to even talk about their communique, which is like the summarized version of what we expected. Admittedly, they mentioned the fine details will be out, will be presented to the president, and probably the good people of Ghana will get to also read that. But like you said, you took the wind out of my sail. Not even one single thing you will hear from the dialogue that sounds striking new. Not even one. If we take the macroeconomic to inclusive growth with sustainable, inclusive and sustainable growth, infrastructure, every single one of it has been tested, has been mentioned, has been profiled by previous governments. Not even one single one, except the decision now that the only new thing that they want to revise VAT. VAT is already to revise it. Possibly the only interpretation is to increase it. That is the only possible interpretation we can give to the VAT. They even including it as part of the key things to discuss or as part of their communique. So, for instance, you are talking of coordination between fiscal and monetary policy. We've gone through that. You are talking about the fact that you want to review the forex regime. In fact, at a point in time, we had to go over black market people. We had to introduce safeguard about forex exchange. Retention policies by corporations. We've discussed all that, as a country. We are going to about reforming or overhauling the.
Moving on to other stories, Eastern Regional Minister Rita Akosua-Ejei has warned all illegal miners to brace a crackdown as a task force will be deployed to enforce mining regulations in the region. According to her, this exercise is to protect the environment from the negative effects of illegal mining.
Any large-scale miners, any small-scale miners, na so omurefi se yemra se ma yenye ya kai ka omu se ni se na eba ye beba eda ye beba de ye nka nkyere mo ba ye beba na ye beba di ani e be kyerehye mu nyensi ayeba ye be hwe se obi aman ni without certificate obi aman ni e wo nsuo ni ho obi a enter forest no o man ni wie nso a na ye nim se we ye wo site e se wo reclaiming land na okata so we ni nyensi ayeba. Inti ye ba ye mechi obi a oye legal mining obi a oye wonu anasase so ye mechi no o ye won nti ho aye becho ye nsi machine bia because machines ne hu hia Ghana municipal assemblies no epe machines na ye adwuma enti ye beto machine eno ani si ye fa na ye aka kire o se ye man ehia ye municipalities na ehia a omudi be ye adwuma wo kwan so because machines no mo use bebre na ani nia yedi yejuma ewo yemro no mo ha ensi ye pie dia na wensi ene executive committee no.
She also revealed that a 9-member committee has been formed to help and enforce mining regulations in the Eastern region.
To me enya ni nyina enchro but say my Cstv but there is a guideline municipal every regional RECSEC EDSI Jumano, but I have it somewhere. But we really moved on the guideline. Na ahimfo enka ho. Military, yewo EPA, yewo Mineral Commission, yewo Forestry. Otiasie. But when mu nyina a me bubo so yi, ansa na ebe remu no, yebema ye regional House of Chiefs act as Nana no masa si amudi ma yesi yenye so edwuma no yentimi betieti ansase no so ayem mom amane so we let the regional House of Chiefs and who say omuka ho.
The Ashiama Circuit Court presided over by His Lordship Mr. Derek Eshen has sentenced a 20-year-old scrap dealer Tahiru Issa to 12 months in prison with hard labor. The conviction follows his guilty plea to the charge of stealing when he appeared before the court. He was therefore charged with stealing and put into custody, where he was later processed for court proceedings. We're going for a commercial break. We'll be right back. Stay tuned. You're still live on CSTV News 24 on CSTV. We're streaming live on YouTube at CSTV GH and follow us on all social media handles for more news updates. Now moving on to some business stories. Channels Tradex, a Ghanaian company will specialize in trade facilitation, exports, trade new market penetration, Trade Promotion, Product Aggregation and Funding has launched a leading-edge initiative named Women in Exports and Enterprises. The organization seeks to build the capacity of women in the export ecosystem to increase Ghana's exports and compete favorably in the international market. According to the World Bank, women own 44% of micro, small and medium businesses in Ghana. The Chief Executive Officer of Channels Tradex indicated that exports are incredibly important to modern economic because they offer businesses a market for their goods and services as well as generate foreign exchange for the country. The country managing partner of Deloitte Ghana, Mr. Daniel Kwadwo Ofosu, said the key sectors of the economy, which is the Electricity Company of Ghana Limited and the Ghana Cocoa Board, are banned with huge debts that affect their performances.
Two main areas. So we've looked at ECG and we've looked at Cocoa Board and how those big institutions can become a lot more functional. And I don't want to take the wind out of my chairman because the chairman is about to go and present. But I think some of the discussions that we have had, especially on ECG, have brought out the fact that it appears that ECG may not be getting the right prices for the power cost that they take. It's also very clear that there's also a certain element of cost that we are not even aware that also sit in ECG's books. It was also obvious they are carrying about 8 billion Ghana cedis of debt. And all those things are featuring in their negative profit position, and that is not helping. And there's a need for that to be refinanced and rechecked. And there have been few recommendations that have come up. And one of the recommendations has been the fact that we need to ensure that we are continuing with the prepaid meters, for example. Everybody should have prepaid meters. Why not? Why should we spend so much money chasing after people to pay money when we could give them prepaid meters?
According to Mr. Daniel Kwadwo Owusu, every consumer should be provided with a meter instead of a postpaid one.
To pay money when we could give them prepaid meters. One of the key recommendations that also came out from our session was also trying to actually make sure that even the meters are free. Because we think that a lot of people do illegal connection because they are not able to secure the meters. Give them the meters free, and with their first 2 or 3 years of their consumption, deduct the meter cost from the session. And I think that for me, that's also a clever way. If you do that, you'll get people moving away from tapping the power illegally and then coming onto the grid. There's also an issue about even giving amnesty to everybody who have done illegal connection to come in and just open up so that they will be given the meter and then we can all start afresh. And for me, there have been a number of recommendations, but the key thing is the political will to implement these things, because some of these recommendations, I'm sure they have been known and it's been sitting in the books. So the political will to implement this is what I saw yesterday from the president and from the finance minister, that they are willing and ready to implement that. Otherwise, our 2 days of staying here and deep diving into this would have gone to waste.
While speaking in an interview regarding his expectations for the 2025 budget yet to be presented to Parliament, he stated,
should be looking up and looking forward to, because it's coming from the government first budget statement. There are a lot of campaign promises that have been made. There are things people are talking about. There's going to be tax cuts. People are talking about there's going to be introduction of new taxes. We are looking at raising more revenue internally, because the external sources of funding has dried down. So it's going to be very interesting. My expectation is that there's going to be a lot more control on government expenditure. And I also see that the government wants the economy to be a lot more competitive. So that means that it should be a lot more attractive for people to come in and do business in Ghana, because that's the way you can expand the economy. I also see that a lot of the state-owned enterprises are going to be touched, so that they can we can bring a bit more efficiency into the state-owned enterprises, and for me, I think those are some of the things that are. But people will be looking forward to what happens at the tax side, whether it's going to be tax cuts or there's going to be new taxes. But the populace are very expectant of what is going to happen, because a lot of people are looking for change, and we are looking to see the reset in the new budget.
Still in business stories, Finance Minister Dr. Castle Atoforsen has assured that the 2025 budget will target and cut wasteful expenditure. The government will also be seeking to rationalize spending to ensure that more funds are advanced to sectors that will rather aid economic growth. The minister gave some strong indications that the total expenditure for the year could go down compared to the 226.7 Ghana cedis billion spent in 2024. On international front, Mark Carney has won the race to succeed Justin as Canada's Prime Minister, vowing to win trade war against U.S. President Donald Trump as he takes charge of the country at a time of deep instability. A former Thai police chief was jailed for life 3 years ago for torturing a drug suspect to death. Has been found dead in his jail cell. Authorities said he died of suicide, according to a preliminary autopsy. Thailand's Justice Ministry has launched an investigation into his death after his family expressed doubt that he killed himself. On this note, we go for a break. Stay tuned.
Aba Ediba Answer Company Limited. So pe blocks machines ya eya papa. Na ne bonso esan eda formo dia. Enye na enwani Answer Company Limited. Your conveyor blocks machines, hydraulic blocks machines, pallets, any blocks machines in one accessories in and nothing so blocks machines are who draw opening in a bin so ewo. To show your chakwan in a year. There was Spinters Road 18 Junction. Yani KFC Dino and a dish anymore. Frey, it was 05,240 and I say 0540-725850. Amstel blocks machines in Papa Pa Efie.
The commercial break now. The news continues. Teresa Yode, the CEO of Charterhouse, has been at the forefront of Ghana's entertainment industry for over 2 decades, but her journey to success wasn't conventional. She opened up about how she left a stable job in broadcasting to co-found Charterhouse with her husband. She made it clear that the decision was hers alone. Today, the Ghana Music Awards is one of the biggest events on the entertainment calendar that makes her proud. For young creatives looking to make an impact, he used his journey as an inspiration, proof that bold ideas and determination can lead to remarkable success. Nigerian music icon Tiwa Savage has admitted she has no plans to sign an artist under her wing, citing the stress that comes with managing talent. She expressed a desire to support upcoming musicians in a different way by creating a music school. And now weather report is up next. Stay tuned. This afternoon, sunny weather conditions with periodic cloudiness will prevail across all sectors of the country. Chances of localized thunderstorms with or without rains are anticipated over places in the middle, transition, and western portions of the northern sectors from late afternoon into the evening hours. However, the northern eastern portions of the country will experience lightly hazy conditions throughout the forecast period. And this is where we end today's news bulletin on CSTV. But before we go, a recap of the top stories. Minority caucus appoint John Darko as legal counsel. Eastern Regional Minister cautions illegal miners in the region. 2025 budget cuts will target wasteful expenditure, says Dr. Forsen. On the international front, Canada's next Prime Minister vows to win trade war with Donald Trump. And this is where we draw our curtains for today's news bulletin on CSTV. CSTV News at 24 was brought to you by Yab Decorations, Serious Dreams Jewelries, KS Rafimix Company Limited, Rema Ushering Agencies, Celeste Sweeton Brown, and Amstel Block Machinery and Block Manufacturing. For more news updates, you can follow us on all social media handles at CSTV GH. My name is Dorcas Mensah.